Hello. I just did a time lapse, and I don't know if I'm going to upload it separately, but what happens is that my 2 by N or 2 by X, depends on how you want to call it, my 2 by N bin was full. It was actually over full. It was over, for yellow. It was falling out. I couldn't add anymore. So what I do is this is the point where we actually have a subsort. So if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that I sort by color and then by function. And so I sort by the yellow, obviously, and then by plates, bricks, modify plates, modify bricks, etc., etc. And so when the plate bin gets full, I subsort it again. So for example, I have a tan bin over there. That's just all plates that I have, not modified plates, just regular basic plates. Fits in one bin. Well, of course, yellow, I have enough plates that I can sort it into 1 by N bin, and a 2 by N bin, and a 4 by N bin, and a 6 by N bin. Actually, for yellow, 4 and 6 are combined because there's not enough to fill a bin with just 4 by X plates or 6 by X plates. But the 2 by X plates, for the longest time, was just one bin. And then it just got overflowing. So as you can see, what I do is I subsort it again. So now this is the 2 by 2, 2 by 3, 2 by 4 bin. And this is the 2 by 8 plus bin. So there's 2 by 10, 2 by 12, and 2 by 16s, which honestly is my favorite plate. And I remember the first time I got one of these, by the way. So it's like, wow, they make them this long. But anyway, so what I usually do when I'm sorting, subsorting from just a regular 2 by N bin to 2 by small and big, I sort out the 2 by 6 was because I don't know if there's the 2 by 2, 3, 4 is going to be fuller, or the 2 by 8 plus is going to be fuller. Normally it's this one that's fuller, but there's been a few examples in there, and I want to say black, where I had this bin, 2 by 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16 was fuller than this one. So I leave the 2 by 6s out, and then when I'm done this sort, I just put the 2 by 6s in the emptier bin. So now this bin here is going to be, this bin is the 2 by 2, 2 by 3, 2 by 4 bin. This is the 2 by 6, 2 by 8, 2 by 10, 2 by 12, 2 by 14, and 2 by 16 bin. I don't know if there's a 2 by 14. I don't know. I'm not that much of a specificist when it comes to Lego. I also used to do this. I did this a long time ago to save space in bins. I just found it to be annoying to take it apart and put it back together all the time. I did this a lot way back in the day. No, this is still together because I haven't needed to grab any 2 by 6s off this because I got a whole bunch of loose 2 by 6s. And I actually found one of my 2 by 2 stacks in here. I did that to save space years ago, and I just stopped. I will have chaos in the bin, and when it gets full, I subsort it just like I did here. So this is my subsort for yellow, and now I have room to add more if I get to that point. The other thing, when I get used lots, or when I'm sorting out a whole bunch of lots, I again sort by color. I got a whole bunch of empty bins, and I put black, white, yellow, red, blue, and then all the other miscellaneous colors. And then when I'm doing the subsort for yellow, for example, I have a whole bin of random yellow pieces here. I will put all the plates together normally, and then I will subsort them when I get everything else sorted out. The bricks, the modified bricks, plates, tires, hinges, all that stuff, slopes. But when it comes down, so I just have a big pile of plates, all sizes. And then when I come to sorting that out into here, it's just easier after, instead of during the raw sort of yellow, to go 1 by N plates, 2 by N plates, 4 by N plates, and 6 by N plates. It's just easier to just dump all the plates in one pile. So there, I would say that this is the, there's a word for it, the necessary evil of having a substantially large Lego collection, like some of us have, that you do spend the necessary evil of sorting. And I like sorting myself when I'm in the mood. I find it to be very, very, I don't want to say therapeutic, but it's very, very, I won't even say calming. Usually I have my classical 96.3 FM going, unless it's opera. No opera for me. Very, very little opera. The opera that was in Shawshank Mozart. I can't remember which one that is, but that's not to go off on a huge tangent. It's one of my most favorite pieces of operatic music, and of course, the list of operatic music that I like is very, very small. So, but I love classical music. I adore. I've always loved classical music. My dad got me hooked on classical music when I was just a little kid. He had like the best of Beethoven and movie themes from 1964, so Dr. Zhivago, stuff like that. Even they had the Bridge on the River Kwai because they had and stuff like that, like just beautiful. 2001, the blue wow, I'm getting old. I'm forgetting what these things are called. Wasn't I'm not even gonna bother because the name's not gonna come to me in any kind of fashion right now. But I know who did it. But the Blue Danube is in there too. It's not Bach. I can't remember. Anyway, tangent over. So I listen to my classical 96.3 FM usually when I'm sorting, sometimes when I'm building. Sometimes I'll have my laptop open and I'll be watching other Lego streams on the YouTubes and or the TikToks. So that's what I do here in my room. I know that my friends tell me that they listen to my extraordinary long and tangents-filled videos. So thank you for that. I'm trying to keep this one short, so we're already at 6 minutes. So this is the purpose of my sorting. I find it to be less effort overall, consistently less effort. And as I say, the volume, the ratio of the density, that's what I'm looking for. The density of bricks per bin is always high. Because again, I don't subsort it until the bin gets overfull. So I'm going to be doing a few more. This is just my morning of cleaning up the Lego room and subsorting some of my fuller bins because they are getting a little bit, I can't put pieces in there anymore. Now, what happens when, say, it becomes, and I mentioned this before, but for the new people here, when this just becomes like 2x4 plates and it gets full, well, I have an overflow bin. Because if I have a bin full of 2x4 plates and I do it in black, that's crazy. I have a whole bin of these that just 2x4 plates. Any new 2x4 black plates goes into my big Rubbermaid tote, along with basically any other 2x brick in almost any color. Because again, all my colors, black, white, red, blue, and yellow, the 2x2 brick, the 2x3 brick, the 2x4 brick are just full now. So anytime I get more of those, they go straight into the overflow. Now the 2x6 brick, I think I have yellow, it's full. One of them's full. And so that goes in the overflow bin. And right now, most of them have the 2x8 and the 2x10 bricks not full. But as soon as one of those gets full, I'll be separating into one specific 2x8 bin and one specific 2x10 bin. So that's what happens. And again, I find it to be fun. Well, I wouldn't use the word fun. It's not like building. Building's great fun. Sorting is just, as they say, a necessary evil part of the hobby. If you have large collections, and everybody has their own way of doing it. There's a lot of people who sort by function and then by color, and I think that's fantastic. I know my buddy Jeff sorts by function and color because he has the room for it. I can't do that. I don't have the room at all in this room to have a bunch of Plano boxes. Unfortunately, I love my friend Jeff's sorting. His Lego room is just one of my most favorite Lego rooms of all time. I do admire when I come across in the TikToks the people who have all those little pull-out drawers in front of them that have like all their pieces sorted out specifically. I tried that once. It didn't work for me because I didn't have the room in this room to have that kind of luxury. And as I say, all my modified plates are in one bin over there. So usually when I'm building anything, especially classic space, I'm going to be using 7, 8, 10 of those different modified plates. And so I just have my modified plate bin here. I'll just grab from there. So this works for me, and it might not work for other people. And what works for other people might not work for me. And so this is a hobby where You can do as you please. There's no judgment about how you sort. What I do and what I did for a long time, even on LugNet, there was a whole thread of sorting, and there's even a group called Sortalug. They talk about sorting. So it's like, it is a big part of the hobby when you're a hobbyist like us, and you have, I'm broken nail. You have stupid large collections. Sorting is what has to happen. You can't keep everything in that cardboard box like you could when you were a kid, because you have so much. And do what you think works best for you. I know this has evolved for me well over the years. When I first started, when we were kids, Brian, me, and Terry, we had a cardboard box full of Lego. When it became basically my collection, I had separated the cool bits from the basic bricks. So the classic space was sorted out from the basic bricks. So that was my sorting method back then. There's classic space and there's everything else. That's what I did. Even when I took a classic spaceship apart and I got other classic space parts and pieces, that was in a separate bin. And then my regular pieces were in the other box. And they were cardboard boxes, remember, at the time. It wasn't until I moved out on my own where I started getting Rubbermaid totes and see-through ones that they had back then. Those were really good, and I kind of missed them, but they took up a lot of room, and they were the big ones, and they were about this high, and they were like 2.5 feet long, whatever. People used them to stack clothes for the winter and put them away. I used them to sort my Lego, so I had 7 or 8 of them, and then they came in half sizes too, so I started differentiating. And that's when I started sorting by color. That's the stage when I started sorting by color. So one of those Rubbermaids would just be all red bricks, and then there'd be one with yellow and white and stuff. And then I did have a tote full of like boat hulls and the bigger pieces, like no matter what color they were, the boat hulls and all that stuff being there. Train track would be in a separate bin. Technic absolutely was always separated out, and classic space, as always, was always separated out. And so from that color sorting that I was doing in those big, huge Rubbermaids, I started becoming, before I moved in here, when I was at my last apartment, and even before my last apartment, I got those 4-liter Chapman ice cream containers, the plastic ones, the square ones, not the round ones, the square ones that were like this. I would just go to the store and buy a Chapman's 4-liter ice cream, and butterscotch ripple, my favorite ice cream of all time. So I started using those because they came with the ice cream, and I didn't want to throw them out. And so I started, because the Rubbermaids were so big and you can't sort it nicely. And I was starting to use Ziplocs and blah blah blah, and it's like, nah, it's a pain in the butt. So I started getting these ice cream containers, so this one is just 2x2 white bricks in this ice cream container, and then I can stack them, right? I didn't leave the lids on them. You can stack them because that also increased my density per shelf, because you would just stack them on top of each other like that, right? Which is a lot easier, it saves space than putting the lids on and be like higher, right? So with the ice cream containers, it was great because like just stack. And so my shelves were just 4 or 5 ice cream containers. And that was white, red, yellow, black, blue. And the bricks we at the bottom, because I really built with specific basic bricks. But there'd be 2x2, 2x3, 2x4. And again, the same thing. It would be all bricks in one bucket until it overflowed. And then I would sort of, oh, these are the 2x2s bucket, these are the 2x3 buckets, these are 2x4 buckets, blah, blah, blah. And it also depended on how many ice cream containers I had. And at the end, and this is not going to be me saying something, but this is me saying something. At the end, when I migrated to these shoe boxes, actually, there was an interim phase when we got those pull-out plastic shelves. I can't remember, KitchenAid Plus or whatever. Canadian Tire had them on sale. This stack of three taller ones and then the 2 shorter ones. I had 16 of those. That was a lot. And that was when we moved into this house. I had those because we had them along the back wall or the side wall of the house. The entire wall was, they weren't 16, there was 8 stacks because I put the 2 stacks, so it'd be like 6 big shelves and 4 small shelves all the way across the wall. And that was fantastic. And I still had the Rubbermaids. over there because the bullet holes and all the bigger pieces. And that worked well enough. I just didn't like the because you could take the drawers out, of course. Those plastic things you can take. I think my friend Janie still has those, like a whole wall of them, and they work well, and I was happy with them overall. And I didn't need to buy shelves because the shelves are included, so that works. If you want to get those, Canadian Tire or wherever else, most places have them. They're the whole kit and caboodle. And I liked them, but then I started getting these guys from Home Depot. And I needed shelves for these things. And then we found out the Billy bookcase from IKEA holds 4 of these in a row perfectly, like no loss of space at all. And then I could sort better, and they're right on the shelf, and I could bring the bin over here, and they're smaller bins than those pull-out shelves, the drawers, whatever. And so we got rid of the 16 cases. So yeah, sorting costs money too, by the way. So if you make a decision, make it. Don't be like, well, for me, it's been vacillating since I was 12, right? How am I sorting? And so the sorting went from cardboard boxes to Rubbermaids to ice cream containers to the drawer units from Canadian Tire to this. So at least 5 major changes of storing my Lego in my room. I've been on this one for quite a while now. I've been here for 18 years. But those pull-out shelves, drawers, lasted a long time until basically we built the wall and made a Lego room separated from the rec room for Josh, and then we just started putting up Billy bookcases, and that's when we got rid of those and went with this entirely. And again, it's even changed since then because this is all I was using for the longest time. Now this from Home Depot come in a variety of sizes. They have the double wides and a half higher, so they can hold like 3 of these. And then they have the very long ones. So again, I have all the bolt holes in there, but they all stack together and they work really nice. These were $1 at the time, 97 cents. I think they're $1.07 now. I can't remember. I haven't bought any because I haven't needed any for a long time. But then we were in the dollar store just a few years back. We found these guys, a stack of 3 for like $3 or whatever it was, and they come with lids. Obviously, I can't reach the lid right now, but it doesn't matter. And so, to put a point on this, let me do this for sure. So this is what happens. This is if you put the lids on. Again, you can see there's more space here. That's fine. But these guys fit perfectly. Like they don't move. Like it was like they were meant for this. But they're completely different manufacturers. Completely different manufacturers. So this I found. I mean, look at that. It's perfect. Like they fit perfectly. So dollar store, $3 for 3. At least at the time. I don't know where they are now. I loved these things. We got a whole bunch. And then when they're empty, because I usually put these on my desk when I'm sorting, right? So I have just a line of these all the way across when I'm sorting. So I can throw all the reds in there, all the whites in there. And then even when I'm doing this sort color functions, I just grab the red bin and I just have these. If I have a lot of red, like normally I just leave piles on my desk. But if there's a lot, then I get these things spread out. So the bricks, the plates, the modified bricks, the tires, the hinges, the slopes, blah, blah, blah. So those things are always there. They work perfectly with this, and this way you can sub-sort even smaller and not waste a lot of space in a big bin. So this is what I'm very happy with for my sorting right now and my storage, because this all works together. And again, Billy bookcases at IKEA. I have 11 of them in here in this room. 11 Billy bookcases, and they are honestly all full. And so I've done this sub-sort, the yellow plates. So now what I have to do is on the yellow shelf over there, I have to take a bin off of there because I have to add a yellow bin, and I have to put that somewhere else. And this is why, and I've said it before a few times, I really do want to start eliminating some of the pieces I know I will never use, either for my overflow bins or pieces that, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to 32 by 32 plates, like the town plates. Nobody uses those anymore, really. They all use the Mills standard now. So I may put a couple 32 by 32 base plates up online so I can free up that shelf space for these guys. So again, it's still debatable, but I do have a ton of 32 by 32 base plates. I have a ton of overflow. I have so many bins behind me that I haven't opened since they went on the shelf, and that's my issue. We are in a hobby where 99% of our pieces never get used in one of our builds, but we don't know which part of that 99% we're gonna use. so it's like, and I also will say this, I've also had a tough time focusing. I mean, you can think that I focus on classic space and maybe a little bit of Technic. When I was growing up, I had some Castle, I had some Pirates, a lot of Town. When I started buying used lots, mostly I was looking for classic space, but I didn't mind whatever. And I had lots of Technic because of the robot buildings, and back then I really liked the Technic. So I personally have a tough time focusing on one element of this hobby and then just basically eliminating all the other parts so I could free up a lot of space in this room, because I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. I don't, like, it's not a regret, but Jeff is doing it right now. He bought the Duplo, the new version of the Duplo IntelliTrain. I had the old one. I had the old Duplo IntelliTrain. And I had 4 big roughneck Rubbermaid totes full of Duplo, like 4 of them, like just completely full. I did give one of my friends the play set, the stage set for Duplo. That was a really cute set that had like sound effects and all that stuff. That was a really cute set, and I gave it to one of my friends because I knew she'd appreciate it more than I do. But overall, like, when am I ever going to build a Duplo? But I kept it along for that long. And again, when you get used lots, you find more Duplo in there, and that goes into those bins. So I had 4 Rubbermaid totes full. And I said, I am never ever going to do anything with this except, when the grandkids come over, if I ever get grandkids. He's 13, give him a minute. But when my friends' kids come over, I had Duplo for them to play with. And yet that wasn't reason enough to keep the Duplo in the house. So I put it on Marketplace a long time ago, and I sold all 4 bins for $200, which I'd rather have $200 than Duplo. But now that Jeff's jumping right back into the Duplo train for reasons, because there was somebody else who posted like a wonderful train layout using the Duplo track and the IntelliTrain, I'm going, I had that. I got rid of it. And again, I really do live life without regrets overall. And so I do not regret selling all those Duplos at the time for $200 because it saved space in my house for 18 years. So it's a wash now. And if I wanted to spend $80, I'd get that IntelliTrain again off of the stores right now, like my friend Jeff did. And it's a thought, but it's down on the list of things I want to do with my time. And I am also being a realist with my life right now, that I don't want to jump into yet another portion of this hobby that I do find interesting, but it will take away my time for doing the other stuff that I also find interesting. So I'd rather complete what I want to complete that I've already started and not get into something new. So that's where I am on this whole thing. But anyway, so I'd have to sort this stuff. I'd have to find a bin for Duplo. Right now, all my Duplo is relegated to my little bunny rabbit there on the shelf, which you can't see. Because again, I got more used lots after after I sold it, that had Duplo in it. And that's again for the kids that come over. And last night, we were babysitting our friend's kid. All of 2 or 3, probably 3 or 4, I don't know. Kids' ages. Okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna continue this conversation later. Talk to you soon. Bye.